2 months tunnelling, I'm free at last!
Back in your cell, Llewellyn.
Welcome to the Scrapheap Challenge semi-final, where 2 teams of brainstorming metal bashers will have to battle it out by literally burrowing their way through to the final. They'll have to act less like bodgers and more like badgers to get through the course we've set.
The challenge facing our teams this week is to build tunnelling machines. They'll have to bore a hole in our specially constructed concrete walls, wide enough to allow the whole team to scramble through straight into this year's final.
First down the hole are the Extinguishers, a trio of cheeky firefighters from Kent, all set to hose down the opposition.
I'm Westy, I'm a fireman, and I'm the captain of the Extinguishers. Fergie, he's a character.
My engineering experience is vast and varied, really.
I think we'll work well together on Scrapheap because of our engineering background and the teamwork that we achieve within the fire brigade.
We can laugh at each other, laugh with each other, and laugh at each other, but we're always there together.
In their last round, the feisty firemen took on the Body Snatchers, a team of paramedics in our Whitewater Powerboat Challenge. The Extinguishers sailed through the clash of the blue flashing lights and outpaced the medics on a boat made from an upturned horsebox. To shore up the firemen this week, we've borrowed Bill Lloyd, a tip-top burrower from Bolton. Bill's been in the international tunnelling game for almost 20 years.
Up against the Extinguishers are the Catalysts, a team of car designers from Coventry who just ooze class and breeding.
I'm Gary, and I'm the team captain of the Catalyst.
I'm very practical and good with my hands.
I'm Tim. Hopefully I'm going to bring a bit of flair and attention to detail.
We spend all our time designing beautiful cars, but it'd be nice for a change to be able to convert some scrap cars into something completely different.
In their last round, the Catalysts converted a battered old truck into a mobile crane and hoisted their opponents, the chairman, clean out of the competition. To prop up the Catalyst, we've dug out Andy Weatherall, who worked as a senior construction engineer on the Channel Tunnel and now teaches tunnelling at the Camborne School of Mines.
OK, cats, are you ready to make a beast of beauty in the heat? Yes! Let's go!
But will our teams be thrilled to bits or cut to pieces in our dirty driller duel?
OK, fiery extinguishers, cool-headed catalysts, stand by to get down and dirty. Your challenge this week is to engineer the ultimate escape. You have to break out of the Scrapheap maximum security compound. Yes, you have to build a dirty, stinking great tunnelling machine.
Yeah, whoa, rock and roll.
So all that stands between you and victory are 2 massive concrete walls. Oh, and 10 hours of the most gruelling, gruesome build of your lives.
OK, teams, are you ready?
Yes!
The teams don't have to tunnel underground, but that doesn't mean it's going to be a walkover. Instead, they'll have to bore through 2 concrete walls, each one a whopping 3 feet thick. The first is made of medium-density concrete, but the second is a drill-snapping mixture of highly concentrated concrete and stone chippings. Each tunnel must be at least 2 feet in diameter to allow the team to crawl through. Roberto?
Yeah?
I'm just worried this challenge is really boring.
No. The whole point is that it's going to be really, really drilling.
Expert Andy teaches tunnelling at his local tech, and it's time to fill the new boys in on the drill.
What we've got to do now is we've got to provide 2 things.
Thrust.
Yep.
And Mr.
Torque.
Mr. Torque. Lucky I'm a lecturer, isn't it?
Got low
Big
speed.
torque.
Big torque.
Big torque. Yeah,
Low
plenty
revs.
of thrust. Low revs.
The Cat's plan is to get both thrust and torque from just one engine. To do this, they'll need a tractor or four-wheel drive, because they usually have engines with two drive shafts. One turns the wheels, whilst the other, called a power takeoff or PTO, is normally used to power contraptions such as a muck spreader. The Cats want to use the main drive to push the tunneler forward. The second drive from the power takeoff or PTO will provide torque or twisting power to turn the drill. It should be a relatively straightforward build, but they'll be relying on one engine to do all the work.
I'm worried about keeping a constant thrust on this cutter.
Discipline in senior lecturer Andy's classroom is starting to break down, and head boy Gary soon puts Sir on the spot.
I mean, what's the sort of cutting speed we're looking at here? An inch a minute or something?
No. We should be able to push through that fairly quickly.
All right, say 3 foot in a minute.
I'd hope to think that the challenge would last longer than a minute.
Yeah, exactly. So somewhere between 3 foot a minute and an inch a minute.
Yeah.
While the catalysts debate the fine detail of performance parameters, the extinguishers concentrate on basic strategy.
Let's use this word, today.
Yeah.
Kiss means keep it simple, stupid. And that is the buzzword for today. We're aware of that.
That's the team tactics sorted, but what are they going to build? The extinguishers' plan is to bag a working truck, then mount a second engine on the back of it connected to a hydraulic pump. The pump will provide not just torque to turn the drill shaft, but also thrust to power a sliding ram and push the cutting head against the front of the tunnel. The hydraulics should provide lots of smooth, controllable power to the drill. And if their pushing ram should fail, they can still use the engine on their truck to provide thrust and power them into the wall. But it's a big build with lots of bits to go wrong.
We build a bed with a motor, a shaft that overhangs. We have a small cutting tool on the front and then a bigger one.
Fergie's beginning to wonder whatever happened to Kiss.
Right then, I'm going home. No, there's too much work for me there. I mean, at the end of the day, that's it, I'm off.
It's a big build.
I'm off, sorry.
It is a big build, but I mean, it's the only way.
Although our teams are going for radically different approaches to tunnelling, the top priority for both is to find a large, chunky vehicle.
The extinguisher's master mechanic Morley has found a truck, but there must be a simpler way of getting to that engine.
What do you think of your plan?
The plan's good.
Yeah?
It's a 10-day plan condensed into 10 hours. That might be a problem.
The extinguishers have got to the engine, but now Fergie's up against another problem.
Yeah, you can't get in the doors. You can't
open the doors?
No. You have to go through the window. This window's open here.
It's already shaping up to be a long, hot day for the firemen.
Those calm cats have found a cool motor, but what is it?
I don't know what it is.
An Austin Gypsy.
Austin Gypsy.
It's a 1960s copy of a Land Rover
Right.
by Austin.
Is it four-wheel drive?
It is four-wheel drive.
Right. That's very sweet.
What's more, it's got a big red knob that says power takeoff on it. Bingo!
It does have a PTO, guys.
Absolutely spiffing. Bring it in.
The cats have found the cream and they're lapping it up.
The catalysts seem really happy. I mean, they're very kind of...
They like
just
problem
absolutely locked
solving,
on.
don't
Yeah,
they?
Yeah.
Whereas I think that the extinguishers don't really like problem
don't want any
solving.
problems
They
at all.
quite like to be home early with a beer.
Yeah. They looked a bit overwhelmed when we first told them.
I just think it sounds like a lot of hard work.
It does.
They're not really up for it.
Yeah.
Morley is starting to get very hot under the collar.
I don't think that engine's any good. It might be, but I can't see. If you don't touch anything, Fergie. Nothing. I've got my hands in there, all right?
OK.
As the firemen round up every available battery on the scrapyard, the KISS philosophy seems to have gone up in smoke.
How many we got on? 3?
At least Captain Westy is keeping cool, calm and connected.
Oh, hang on a minute, that's not connecting, hang on a minute.
Now try it.
How did you do that? Good boys.
Tunnelling is definitely not a job for the faint-hearted. It's one of the toughest jobs in construction. Working deep underground is hot, dusty, wet and dangerous. Conditions like these can only be conquered by the most extreme machines. Modern tunnellers are mechanical monsters that drill, cut, grind and chew whatever gets in their way. But digging the tunnel is only part of the story. The machine must also get rid of the rubble, lay tracks to move forward and fit the concrete blocks that line the walls. The modern tunneler is a mobile construction site all rolled up in a single tube that really is cutting edge.
Back on the scrap heap, the catalysts are going for something a little more modest. That old pole should do them nicely for a drilling shaft. Surely the fireman should have spotted that.
1, 2, 3, go! I got it!
Head boy Gary is determined to win by any means, fair or foul.
Right, we ram the opposition now, okay?
Okay, ramming speed.
Achieve ramming speed.
Have you got a design that you're all happy with?
We're going to put a hydraulic pump.
Oh, it's the H word.
Yeah. Yes. We're down to KISS Engineering.
Yes. We hear a lot of talk of KISS on this show.
Yeah, KISS. That's where we're at. Keep it simple, and then we'll
Hydraulics and simplicity aren't often heard in the same sentence, I've got to say.
A hydraulic ram consists of a cylinder full of oil and a piston which moves up and down inside. When the hydraulic fluid is pumped in one end of the cylinder, the piston moves out. When it's pumped in the other end, it moves back in. Hydraulics are powerful, but you need a lot of bits to make them work. A reservoir tank for the fluid, an engine and pump to push it round, levers and valves to control the power, and lots of pipe work to connect everything up. The great advantage, though, is that they'll be able to adjust the pressure on the wall as the drill head moves forward, but there are lots of bits and pieces to go wrong.
Teams, you have 8 hours remaining. 8 hours remaining, teams! 8 hours, thank you!
The cats are trying to sniff out that power takeoff drive.
Quite smells a bit, doesn't it? It's a bit pungent.
Pungent? I hadn't noticed
Smells like it's got a dead sheep in the back or something. It's horrible.
And the smell's not the only problem with the Austin Gypsy. It's got every gear ratio going, but there's no sign of that power takeoff shaft, the drive they need for their cutting head.
This here, at one point somewhere, is two-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, and the second point there, it's four-wheel drive.
It looks like you could get a model of this vehicle with a PTO, but this is the special model that doesn't have it.
This is the cheapskate farmer's one.
With no PTO.
I'm not sure this is a winner.
To sort out the cutting heads from the spoil heaps, our judge this week is someone who definitely gets his thrills from drills. Trevor John is a senior engineer for Eurotunnel.
The big differences I can see so far is that we've got a hydraulic-powered drill, if you like, on this side, or I don't know what do you call it? You don't call it a drill, I suppose.
Well, no, it really is a TBM, but we'll have to see how we move it forward.
What's a TBM?
Tunnel boring machine, of course.
A TBM, sorry, hydraulic-powered TBM. Yeah. And we've got a mechanical-powered TBM with the catalyst. So.
Yeah. I think, each has its own benefits. If you go for the hydraulic side, then you've got much better control, but it's more complex to build.
Actual build.
Yeah. So. Conversely, of course, when you take the mechanical drives that the catalysts are looking at, that, whilst it's a lot more simple to actually put it together, you haven't got the same degree of control.
It looks like the catalysts have ground to a halt as the extinguishers finally get their show on the road.
This is a real awkward get up this end.
Yeah, you got it though, didn't you? You picked this in.
No, it was the only one that was left.
Who undone this?
Yeah, but I can't get a lift.
Thank you.
The extinguishers finally get on with constructing their TBM, but in Camp Catalyst, PTO currently stands for pretty turned off.
I think the Catalysts are having some kind of summit about their various issues.
Big summit, yeah. I've never seen them actually sitting down before.
I know, it is quite alarming, isn't it?
We suspect strongly that this particular vehicle they had in mind, with a low gear ratio output and a big engine, enough torque and all that stuff, it's inadequate in just about every regard.
With 7 hours to go, both teams are a long way from seeing any light at the end of their tunnels. The firemen decide to take on more water, while the cats are starting to go catatonic.
Isn't it? I don't like this. I don't like it at all. I don't like this at all. I don't like it. I don't like it a bit.
Can you get down or on your way?
The extinguishers want to mount a hydraulically powered drill on a sliding ram on the back of this truck. Their big problem is there's no sign of any hydraulic parts.
The Cats need a low-speed, high-torque motor to drive their drill. Could this Land Rover ride to their rescue? Brainy Shane's got an idea.
Yeah. Gary?
Yeah?
I was looking at the other team's old Land Rover.
Yeah.
I was thinking about using that independently, so the engine's running and it's driving.
And that's got a low-speed power takeoff.
Push this.
Push this?
Articulated vehicle. Just use this as a tug.
Just push the damn thing.
Push it.
Just nose it.
Just nose it.
Yeah.
This vehicle provides the thrust.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah,
Or
go
just
and get
stuff
it.
the nose into
Go
it
and get it.
push
Go and get
Fold it together.
it. See if you can get it.
Because they can't get thrust and torque from one vehicle, they've decided to use two and bodge them together. The Austin will push the machine along, whilst the Land Rover's low-speed, high-torque gearbox should guarantee loads of lovely revs for the cutting head.
OK, team.
Head boy Gary has rung the bell for assembly. It's time to give the lads a pep talk.
OK, right. So we have a plan now. 2 vehicles, welding together, 6-wheel drive beast, quick jigsaw puzzle, job jobbed, through the wall and victory. Yep?
Yep.
Any questions between now and victory?
No.
No? OK. Right, off you go, kids. Let's go. Right. And go!
Go. Keep pushing. 1, 2.
But getting that Land Rover out is no pushover. It looks like they need a tunnelling machine just to get to it.
At least they found what they want. Elsewhere on the heap, extinguisher Fergie's still hunting for the vital bits and pieces to make their hydraulic system. It's a complex kit of parts, not unlike the yellow heap of scrap Fergie's leaning on. And those levers have got him thinking. Time to call expert Bill in for a second opinion. The long-sought-after hydraulic unit is found at last, and Bill just can't wait to play with those knobs.
We've got the lever to rotate it, and then just use these can be the actual control levers. We've got it.
It's a one-stop scavenge. There's a fluid tank, engine, pump and control valves. Bill's in hydraulic heaven.
Somewhere, but that'll do. I'm happy with that.
Rocket, it's going to go.
Our buggy isn't beefy enough to prise the Landy from its lair, so the Cats decide to bring in the Gypsy to charm it out. And it works like magic.
Teams, you have 6 hours remaining.
Can't we make it 2?
Instruction time remaining, teams, OK? Thank you.
6 hours. 6 hours. God.
To support the huge hydraulic unit and their sliding ram, they're going to need a strong metal frame on the pickup. So now the hunt is on for heavy metal.
It's not even... That's all we got. It's all I can find. The scrapyard's dried up.
Bergie's spotted a groovy girder. Hang on, isn't that part of our set?
We're going to have that bit of UB there, that universal beam. We're going to have that. I know it looks pretty up there.
Oh, you really are?
Yeah.
Well, that's literally the only heavy enough.
Yeah, this
metal
heavy
you
as
can find.
gauge. Yeah, we
Right.
really do need a bit of UB.
Fergie's used to the heavy stuff. His teammates reckon he's been known to drink his own weight in beer. And he's never been known to fall down.
See, right on cue.
Mention tunnels and most people think of the Channel Tunnel. Although Japan has the lengthiest tunnel, the Channel Link has certainly been the longest in the planning. As far back as 1802, Napoleon planned a tunnel with a paved road for stagecoaches. Ever wary of European invasions, the British scuppered the plan. Finally, in 1987, work began on what many consider to be one of the engineering wonders of the world. Twin-rail tunnels were dug out by 11 200-metre-long TBMs and a workforce of 13,000. It was a hot, dirty and occasionally wet job, but after just 3 years, France and England were finally connected for the first time since the Ice Age. The 31-mile tunnel opened for business in 1994, and now the trip to France takes just 35 minutes on trains capable of speeds in excess of 100 miles an hour.
So you used to actually buy the machines that they used in the Channel Tunnel, if I'm correct. And I mean, if you came here to the Scrapheap showroom, you were choosing which tunnel machine you'd buy.
Well,
which one would you go for?
The tender, as I see it at the moment, I'd have to go on the engineering, because I think the engineering's understood. They might not yet be able to deliver it, but they've got the theory. So my betting at the moment would be on the catalyst.
Would be on the catalyst.
Chief test driver Shane can't wait to get behind the wheel of their juggernaut tunneler. Hang on, aren't they supposed to stick a cutting head on first?
Oh, lordy, lordy.
He goes!
That's given the fireman a lift, but it's soon all hands to the pumps as the radiator springs a leak.
That is pouring out.
They'll need to sort that out before they go tunnelling, and it's not just the fireman's hydraulics that are liable to overheating.
Did you wipe this list off this board of the order we're going to put things together in?
Sorry?
Did you wipe this board to the list of the order we're going to weld things together in?
No, I didn't do that.
Who's wiped this board? We worked out what order we were going to weld it all together in.
It looks like lecturer Andy could be in for a spot of detention.
Have to do it again.
We wrote on here...
It's not on paper, is it?
What order we were going to weld everything together, and it's gone.
If you had to go in one of the teams, who would you go in?
I think I would probably go with the extinguisher just because I could sort of potter along on my... I'm a bit of a sort of...
You like a bit of a...
Because if I had a
You'd have to be called Bobby, though.
Oh, yeah, Bobby. Come on, Bobby, come on, do that. But yeah, because you wouldn't really be that worried about the discipline, whereas if you fell out of line in a catalyst camp, I wouldn't want to cross him.
No.
I mean, they're a great team and they get on really well, but you just think, oh no, because I haven't unloosened that bolt like I promised Gary I would.
He claims that he wasn't a prefect at school, but I don't believe it.
I believe it. He must have been head boy, surely.
That's what I think. It must be true.
Or it's come out later in life. Maybe he was very oppressed at school.
Ah,
and that's all
older brothers, perhaps.
Maybe he's got a lot of older brothers. Yes. Good theory.
Yes.
The cat's grinded up a gear, their tunneler plan is back on target, and you can almost hear the Jag boys purr.
The extinguishers finally get the hydraulic unit onto the pickup. But they still have to build a ram, connect their drive shaft, make a cutting head, and connect up all the hydraulics. With less than 4 hours to go, the extinguishers are looking burnt out. It's time to go back to the KISS approach.
We're getting tight for time. I think the sliding bed with the hydraulic ram is a luxury possibly we can do without now. The fact that we've got a pretty substantial vehicle, we've got a vehicle that's automatic, it's racked off. Sorry guys.
No, you're all right.
Because that's the only contingency plan we got.
It's a major blow for the extinguishers. They've wasted hours humping those huge, heavy hydraulics around, and now they only need a tiny part of it to power their system.
Those clever car makers, the Catalysts, have joined two four-wheel drive vehicles together, one to push them forward and the other to power their drill.
Yeah, kill.
Our firemen from Kent, the extinguishers, originally planned to use a hydraulic ram to thrust their cutting head forward and turn the drill. To save time, they've ditched the ram plan and will now simply reverse their truck into the wall.
Right, what pipes are you using?
We can't use... There's nothing on there. We'll take all the pipes off, we'll take them off.
Having stripped their hydraulics plan down to the bone, they start to beef up their drill shaft support with a chunky slice of steel.
God, you think that we're made for it?
Teams, you have 3 hours remaining. 3 hours remaining, team. Thank you.
Welcome back to Scrapheap Challenge, where we're talking tunnels. But which team will be wily enough to worm their way into the final?
Those clever car makers, the Catalysts, have joined two four-wheel drive vehicles together, one to push them forward and the other to power their drill.
Yeah, kill.
Our firemen from Kent, the extinguishers, originally planned to use a hydraulic ram to thrust their cutting head forward and turn the drill. To save time, they've ditched the ram plan and will now simply reverse their truck into the wall.
Tim's perfecting the steel plate that will be the base for their cutting head. He's got to cut it down to 2 foot across because that's the width they'll need for their tunnel.
Anybody fancy a burger? Burger?
What is it about boys and their Barbies?
Hot dogs, cheese and pickle sandwich.
Gary and Shane are connecting the drivetrain on the Land Rover to their drill shaft. This joint is crucial. It'll need to withstand a lot of pressure when they start to drive the drill head into the concrete. To stop the shaft crashing back into the drivetrain, they're whipping up a crafty homemade shock absorber.
It's not quite in the middle, but it's not touching either wall, so...
The shock absorber consists of a tube with a flat plate around one end, which they'll slide like a sleeve over the drive shaft. They'll weld another flat plate on the drive shaft itself. So if the shaft does push back, the two plates will crunch together and absorb the pressure. If they don't get it right, the drivetrain could be crushed and the shaft may bend, wobble or snap.
The extinguisher's shaft will be powered by this hydraulic pump. It might look puny to you, but expert Bill is convinced it'll pack a pistol load of twisting power. Hydraulic pumps are specially designed to deliver masses of torque, even at very low speeds.
It's got to be right up.
They need to support the long drill shaft on the back of the pickup. An old car wheel fits the bill brilliantly. Bodge-tastic.
You ain't going to get much better than that.
Yeah, 1, 2...
Andy and Tim get on with the business end of the operation, the drill head. They've made hard, stubbly teeth from toughened steel, which they'll set in a spiral pattern to ensure maximum cutting cover. Ouch!
Whack it in the middle of those two.
The cat's cutting head is not unlike the real thing, although a little smaller. This TBM is one of 6 that dug out the English side of the Channel Tunnel. They munched through 4 million cubic metres of chalk, increasing the size of England by 90 acres, equivalent to 68 football pitches. Its proud owner is our tunnelling judge, Trevor John.
When this was in operation, what would have been happening?
Well, all the main arms that you see now would be turning.
Right.
This whole face would be turning.
All these black things are doing the cutting, they're all teeth.
All of those teeth do the cutting and they rock backwards and forwards. But as the arms go round, these baffles then lift up the chalk and they drop it down into a hopper at the top.
Yes.
Which falls then onto the conveyor belt, all the way to the back of the machine, where you had a train waiting to take all the spoil.
With just one careful owner, the TBM is up for grabs, and Trev decided to turn on the hard sell.
You're looking for a home for this?
Oh yeah, we would really very much like to find somebody
Offers
who'd
welcome.
like to continue to use it.
£2 million upwards though,
Oh, about that.
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
or offer, or near offer.
Blimey, £2 million for a rusty old TBM? Mind you, I wouldn't give a tenner for our 2 teams tunnellers. But the cat's drilling head is actually starting to look quite businesslike.
But this is the bit that's actually going to be doing the work.
This is the cutter head. We're going to clean it up and round it around a bit. But ultimately, these are going to be our cutter teeth, and we're going to mount them inside of here. Okay. And basically, it's fairly hardened steel. It's mean.
Oh, that is so vicious.
Yeah. Obviously, the spoil can work its way out through here.
That's
and what we're going to do is have a little bit of artistry inside here to persuade the material on rotation to pass through. And then ultimately...
That's such a genteel way of putting it. It's an artistry to persuade the material out.
Lucky I teach it, that's why I'm a lecturer. I have to be polite to my students.
The reinforced 2-foot diameter disc has lots of sharp teeth to chew up the concrete. The spoil should then pass through the portholes in the cutting head before being spat out the back. If the system works, they won't have to stop drilling to clear away their spoil.
The extinguishers also need a big head on their driller, but this is the chunkiest lump of metal they can find.
I'm all right, we've got 12 inches, that's all we've got now.
Fergie's seen bigger heads on pints of beer.
Sometimes beggars can't be choosers, can we now? We're just going to have to live with that.
The extinguishers are going for a completely different approach to drilling, with 2 cutting heads on one shaft. The smaller first head will consist of 3 large teeth. The second head will be a disc with teeth welded on. They reckon the smaller first cutting head will weaken the wall, so the second disc will find it easier to cut. The theory is that it's easier to push your finger through sand than your whole fist. The dual head should also support the shaft, making it less likely to wobble and snap. But the extinguishers haven't worked out how to get rid of the spoil, which could clog up their drill.
So out of the 2 cutting heads we've got here, which one is the best?
I think it's difficult to call because they've both got advantages. very clearly that the extinguishers with their centre attack point gives them an extra bit of stability, so it's easier on the drivetrain. But of course then, if we look back at the catalysts, their advantage of course is they've got a good spoil clearance mechanism.
It's been a long, hot day in the scrapyard, but with time running out, our mechanical moles can't afford to lose their momentum.
Hello? Where's the helpers? Just try a piece of that steel in there now.
Teams, you have 1 hour remaining. 1 hour remaining, teams. Thank you.
The firemen are falling behind, but Bill's finally getting to grips with the cutting head. The smoothie cats are greasing up their shafts.
I think that's it, isn't it?
They fit like a glove. It's time Bill sorted out his teeth. Some people are always putting it off to the last minute.
So who do you reckon? If you had to crawl through one of these homemade tunnels?
I mean, I always do this. I like to go with the underdogs.
Which is clearly the extinguishers in
At
this
the moment,
case.
they're so far under as dogs.
I was with them when they had their whole hydraulic ram, slightly sophisticated business, but actually now...
They're bursting into a wall with a sort of very slow-moving hydraulic twisty thing with shark's teeth.
Yeah.
And it looks a bit like a bit of an old gummy old shark that has chewed rather too many oxygen cylinders.
Yeah. If you imagine that was rotated. Yeah. OK, we're looking at this edge
Egghead
here.
Tim's got his own plans for spoil removal, and he doesn't need any help from Sir.
We stand on his edge, we can see.
But let me make something, and you go away and do something else. And when I've done it, I'll call you, all right?
Teams, you have 30 minutes remaining. 30 minutes remaining, teams. Thank you.
Well, that's...
The firemen should be used to poles, but they're having a bit of a struggle with this one.
Just a tad, go on. To us. Push it in, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
It's turnover time for the cats, and it works a treat. Ooh, watch your hand, Sir.
Can you do it here?
You're not hiding any of the...
While Andy gets his fingers burnt, Tim works on a set of metal flaps to persuade their spoil away from the cutting head.
We're nearly at the end now. I mean, which machine are you going to buy?
Well, I'm going to be consistent.
Right.
And I'm going to stay with the catalysts. But at the end of the day, there is a risk in that.
Yeah.
You know, the drivetrain is fragile.
Right.
But they've done a really good job of engineering the issue, and I'll stay with them.
But the cats are almost there. They've just got to fit that cutting head. Eyes away, let's weld.
It's nearly going home time at Andy's tunnelling academy, but how does he rate the lads' efforts?
But does this machine make you happy now?
See you tomorrow.
Oh, it makes me... Come on. It's a
We're not going home on that.
Bill gets on with grinding his front teeth, while the rest of the lads weld up the drill shaft.
Teams, you have 5 minutes remaining. 5 minutes remaining, team. Thank you.
The firemen are seeing blue flashing lights as the second cutting head is hammered into position. This metal plate should act as a shock absorber to soak up excess pressure from the cutting head. It's a nice touch, and they've made it just in time. Bill's thrilled with their dirty driller.
What a beast, what a beast, what a beast.
Time is up! Extinguishers, catalysts, sharpen up your drill heads, for tomorrow night is the great Scrapheap escape. Well done, teams!
Thank you! The catalyst tunneler might look long, lean and mean, but will their dodgy drivetrain last the course? And will the extinguisher's huge, hungry monster make it through the wall before their drill head clogs or the hydraulics go kaput?
At vast expense, we have constructed our very own Wormwood Scraps prison that the teams have to break out of in order to break into the Scrapheap Challenge Final.
The rules have been laid out in strict compliance with the Geneva Convention. The first obstacle for our would-be escapees is the inner wall, made of medium wussy concrete. The teams have to drill right through, and only when all 4 team members are safely on the other side can they move on to tackle wall number 2. This one's made of the really tough stuff, but again, all 4 team members have to get through before reaching the final obstacle. After all that concrete, the perimeter fence should be a cinch. When they get through this, they'll find themselves right back where they started, in the scrap heap build area, but this time it's to compete in the final.
Earlier in the day, our teams got down to some last-minute tunneler tinkering in the prison exercise yard. Strangely enough, there wasn't a camp guard inside.
It's time to start up the hydraulic tunneler, and the extinguishers are worried that the monster power unit may shake so much that their pickup could fall down. They're hoping these supports will do the job. Time to give it a go. And it's so far so good.
The catalyst machine looks cutting edge and ready to rock, but Andy and Tim are still arguing spoil removal.
If we leave it going out at that angle, right, and it rotates, all it's going to...
And Gary and Shane are still gossiping about gears.
To disengage four-wheel drive in high range, change into low and back into high.
We don't want to disengage. We don't want to disengage.
Blimey, it's a bit late for Plan C. Maybe it's all pre-breakout tension.
There are also last-minute nerves in the fireman's camp, but they're not worried about the state of their machine.
If you win, this is the thing, have you thought about this? The consequences of winning means you've got to build something else.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
My endless nightmare.
Is it? That you might actually win.
The Catalyst crew will never win prizes for modesty, but when it comes to overconfidence, expert Andy is in a league of his own.
Have you got an estimate for how long it'll take you to get through the wall?
A short amount of time.
What, like...
That's precise.
5 minutes? 20 minutes?
Should we
4
take
hours?
sandwiches?
Under 3 minutes.
Night soon fell on wormwood scraps. It was time for our brave bodgers to go not under or over, but through the wall.
OK, tenacious tunnelers, the waiting is over. The sun has set. It is time to attempt your escape. On the sound of my horn, you will turn over your TBMs and drill your way to victory. 3, 2, 1, me! Let's go!
Come on, lads! The teams jump to action stations, and it looks like we're really in for a tremendous tunnelling driller thriller.
With the hydraulics really starting to hum, Morley gently reverses the pickup, and the first cutting head corkscrews into the concrete.
With Andy happy that they're properly aligned, Shane drives the tunneler straight at the wall. Their steel teeth are making mincemeat of the mortar, and the spoil disposal unit immediately comes into its own.
The extinguisher's mechanical molars seem unstoppable. Bill's got the tricky task of controlling the hydraulic torque that's powering the drill shaft. Morley's controlling thrust with some delicate reversing, while Captain Westy is making sure that thrust talks to torque.
Shane's easing the Land Rover forward ever so gently. He's riding the clutch and it could burn out. To ease the pressure, Gary's providing extra manual thrust through a lever locked into the back wheel. Tim's on torque duty. When he hits the gas, he's actually turning the drill shaft. And he's checking spoil removal. If that drill gets clogged up, they're in trouble.
Well, the catalyst machine's certainly working now.
But it's spitting it out very well at the moment, isn't it?
That's right.
The extinguishers are falling behind, but now Bill guides the big second cutting head into the wall. They're hoping their larger disc can make up the lost ground, but it's just scratching the surface.
This is more like you were describing. I mean, this is just gently chewing its way through it.
This would be the normal sort of speed I would expect into material.
But the cats have thrown away the tunneler's handbook. They're going at it hammer and tongs. But Andy spotted a problem with the cutting disc. They've got to stop drilling and the tunnelling juggernaut is thrown into reverse.
It looks as though we've got something come loose off the catalyst machine there.
Oh, right.
Their blade that was for pulling the material out has come loose.
Off, is it?
I don't think it's too serious.
No.
As the cats grind to a halt, the extinguisher's mortar muncher marches on. The burning question now is, can the fireman's tortoise sneak up on the boy racer's hair?
The cats rush in to examine the problem. It looks like their much-vaunted disposal unit has failed to persuade the spoil out of the hole. There's nothing for it but to remove the waste by hand. It's all a bit undignified and it's costing them valuable time.
The extinguishers drill on, but the judge has spotted a problem.
There seems to be a lot of smoke emanating from around those hydraulics.
It does look a bit like that. You don't think it's steam from water leaking out the radiator?
It could be. It's difficult to see from here.
Though, you're right.
They're pushing that machine very hard.
Aren't they?
It seems their leaky radiator has come back to haunt them. To cool things down, Fergie's gone on water duty. But overheating is not the fireman's major problem.
You want maximum speed! You can't go any faster!
That's all the hydraulics will give us. Yes, come in, Kathy.
I'm afraid I've got to say that
It is a hydraulic machine, but it is working very well. Just very, very slowly.
The cats are on all fours, clawing for victory. They've no choice. Their spoil disposal unit is looking pretty battered.
the catalysts are very proud of their spoil removal system, but actually it just looks like a load of bent, twisted, fluffy metal bits.
It's been a major hold-up, but now they're only inches from breakthrough, or what professional tunnellers call daylighting. Shouldn't that be moonlighting? Shane eases the tunneller forward. And they're through!
Well, that's amazing. It really is. That was very quick. That's a lot quicker than I expected.
One through! Two through! Three through! Four through! Look at that beautiful hole. I don't know what's happening next door, but no sign of any firemen coming through a hole yet.
The extinguishers machine has slowed to a snail's pace. Maybe they're just saving the hydraulics for that second, much tougher wall.
Very slow progress at the moment, though, isn't it? It seems to have been at this position for now a hell of a long time.
Give it some jib. Stop tickling.
And that's all they need now. Catcalling from the opposition.
Punch it through now. Come on. Come on.
Come on, extinguishers. We're through! Come on! Come on! Come on, Bill! Yes! Yes! You made little steps!
Welcome to the other side.
The extinguishers are finally through, but they've incurred a time penalty, giving the cats a head start in the final stage.
Catalyst, start up your TBM and get drilling!
This could get messy.
The cats have a time advantage, but how will their nippy but more fragile machine cope with the harder concrete?
This harder concrete consists of mortar and coarse chippings. Hold on to your hard hats.
It's working.
As the cat's cutter chews through the concrete, the firemen just have to watch and wait.
This concrete is an awful lot thicker than the other lot.
Stalled it. Back out, Shane.
Something stopped in a rather ominous fashion.
Whoa!
It looks like the concrete may be too hard for the cat's drill. The engine has stalled. The delay is a bonus for the penalised fireman. The cat's tunneller has been given too much thrust and not enough torque. Shane must go easy on the revs or he'll break the drill.
Now the extinguishers are starting on wall number 2 as well. And they're cutting through without problem.
But the fireman's machine seems to prefer a bit of rough. It's tearing into that coarse concrete. They throw caution to the wind and squeeze every last bit of hydraulic juice out of their TBN.
But the extinguishers are really putting some pressure on there. You can hear that engine growing with the hydraulics. It's all or nothing, definitely, with that one now.
The cats are speeding ahead. But oh no! It seems they've hit another problem.
There's praise hand gestures in every direction. God knows what they mean. Oh, I think that one must have meant stop.
Kiss, boy.
Their cutter is clogged with spoil again. The cats get down and dirty to claw it out.
Just get it all out.
The extinguisher's double header drills away relentlessly, but can they chew up enough ground?
Back in position, engines up, engines up.
The Jag boys are off again, and it's all smiles. They reckon they're just a cat's whisker away from breaking through.
Very good.
But those extinguishers are not giving up without a fight. They've decided to go all dastardly and ram their way through the wall.
They're going to take a ram at it. They're going to come through.
Definitely going for a ram. Oh my word!
It's neck and neck and drill to drill as the cats see the first chinks of light at the end of their tunnel.
Looks like they're through, yes.
The cats are through the hole, and it's all down to a last mad dash to the fence and victory. Can they do it?
The extinguishers have also breached the wall. All they need to do now to finish the job is clamber through.
But the cats are home and dry. They've reached the fence and they're through to the Scrapheap Challenge final.
Oh, guys, well, look, have that. Oh, thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. You've only got to do another one. I haven't got any dogs.
Staying underground next with Science Night here on Discovery as extreme engineering follows the work to make New York City's subway great once again.